Don't you think that that would be frightening? I mean, just to come back to something Professor Russell said a moment ago, he talked about the ability in the election context of AI to fed in the information from, let's say, one political figure, everything about that person, the ability to come up with a very convincing misinformation campaign. Now, imagine if that technology also, if the same large language model, for example, also had the information, the voter files, millions of voters, and knew exactly what would capture those voters' attention, what would hold it, what arguments they found most persuasive, the ability to weaponize misinformation and to target it toward particular voters would be exceptionally powerful, right? Now, search is all about getting and keeping users' attention. That's how Google makes money. I'm just imagining your technology, a generative AI, aligned and integrated and folded into search, the power that that would give Google to get users' attention, keep their attention, push information to them would be extraordinary, wouldn't it?
Yes. So, I mean, I think, Senator, I think these are very important issues, and I want to raise a few points on here. One is some of the things I said in response to Senator Blumenthal's questioning, which is, on misinformation. So we put terms in Claude's Constitution that tell it not to generate misinformation or political bias in any direction. I, again, want to emphasize over and over again that these methods are not yet perfect, and the science of producing this is not exact yet, but this is something we work on. I think you're also getting at some important privacy issues here about personal information, and this is an area where also in our Constitution we discourage our models from producing personal information. We train on publicly available information. So it's very core to our mission to produce models that at least try not to have these problems.
Well, you say that you tell the model not to produce misinformation. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but do you tell it not to help massive companies make a profit? This would be Google's interest, right, above all profits. The whole reason they want to get users' attention and then keep users' attention and keep us searching and scrolling is so that they can push products to us and make lots and lots of money, which they do. It seems to me that your technology melded with theirs could make them an enormous sum of money. That would be great for them. Would it be so good for the American consumer?
Again, I can't speak to decisions made by a different company like Google, but we are doing the best we can to make our systems ethical. When in terms of how do we tell our model not to do things, there's a training process where we train the model in a loop to tell it for some given output. Is your response in line with these principles? And over the last 6 months since we've developed this method of constitutional AI, we've gotten better and better at getting the model to be in line with what the Constitution says. Again, I would still say it's not perfect, but we very much focus on the safety of the model so that it doesn't do the things that you're concerned about, Senator.
Well, listen, I think this has surfaced an important point, and I just want to underscore this because I think it's important. All this, I appreciate that you want your models to be ethical and so forth. That's great, but I would just suggest that is in the eye of the beholder, and the talk of what is ethical or what is appropriate is going to really vary significantly, determined by or depending on who controls the technology. So I'm sure that Google or Microsoft, using these generative models, linking it up with their ad-based models, would say, oh, it's perfectly ethical for us to try and get the attention of as many consumers as possible by any means possible and to hold it as long as possible. And they would say, there's no problem with that. That's not misinformation. That's business. Now, would that be good for American consumers? I doubt it. Would that be respectful of American consumers' privacy and their integrity? Would it prevent them, or would it protect them rather from manipulation? I doubt it. I mean, so I think we've got to give some serious thought here to who controls this technology and how they are using it. And I appreciate all that you're doing. I appreciate your commitments. I think that's great. I just want to underline, this is a very serious structural issue here that we're going to have to think hard about, and the control of this technology by just a handful of companies and governments is a huge, huge problem. Hopefully we can come back to this thing.